Yo, hit the like button. Hit the like button when you come up in the building. Even if you're doing a rewatch of this live, I'll give y'all a minute to come up in here, get the notifications. Yo, what's good? Booking us to eat crazy. Alicia Trigg was good. I'm gonna get right into this because it's hot than a motherfucker in this garage, and yeah, it's like it's probably it's about 100 degrees outside, so it's probably like 105 up in here, but yeah. Well, it's 98 degrees outside, so it's probably 104 in this garage, but or pretty close to it. But it's all good, I could tough it out. I've been in worse predicaments. So I just want to touch on this situation here with the officer Brandon Tatum, who continues to cape for the Uvalde Police. And in this video is going to attempt to disprove what everyone's been saying about the police being cowards. Only he creates more holes than he closes up, and actually goes a long way to making himself look kind of silly. You know what I'm saying? I don't know why he's so hard up for these police officers, but this is getting ridiculous, and I am here to point out the ridiculousness and the contradictions. There's contradictions all up and through here, so, we're going to go through it. We're going to see what it do. But first, how's the sound? How am I sounding, y'all? Is the sound quality good enough? Pretty soon I will be able to do my videos and whatnot in a much cooler environment. I'll be having an indoor office soon, so to speak. So I'm excited about that. But anyway, let's start this video off, man. And then I'm going to get into the senators who are working to remove more of our rights and why they need to be arrested. Yeah, we need to stop playing games with these people. You see, it's not good enough to just call them and complain, right? Because they shouldn't be doing this in the first place. Even if we convince them to stop, right? Even if we call them and bombard them and harass them so badly that they change their mind, this should not be on their mind in the first place. They should not be in the position they're in, given these things that they're trying to do. But let's get into this first.
His decision to leave his police radios where he first arrived at the school so he could run into the school without dropping them, so he could have both of his hands.
He left So he dropped his radio so they wouldn't interfere. That makes zero sense. Why would you drop your radio? But, you know, we're going to get into that.
Free in case he needed to use his pistol, as he thought would be a very likely outcome.
All I'm asking, just admit you were wrong. Just admit it.
This guy cannot help himself. He cannot help himself. Admit we were wrong. Okay, let's see if you can prove that.
This video is brought to you by the Officer Tatum Store, theofficertatumstore.com. Make sure you get your cool merch. If you want any of these items, all you got to do is click on it. They're going to say sold out. They're coming soon. All you got to do is hit notify, do your part. Use discount code United We Stand, and you will get a 20% discount on the entire store. Like and subscribe to the channel. Hit the bell so you get notifications anytime I go live and make a video. Make sure you still subscribe to my channel, like this video, comment on this video, share this video. Let's get into this. Ladies and gentlemen, and ladies, Chief Arredondo has spoken. It is the Uvalde Consolidated.
Chief Arredondo has spoken, right?
The independent school district chief that everybody decided to throw under the bus. Now, in the comment section, for everybody that said, Brandon, you a liar, Brandon, you wrong on this, they were cowards. I can't believe you still talking about this. I can't believe you defending these cowards. You should be ashamed of yourself. I'm unfollowing you. Just go down in the description section and just write that apology. I don't need.
What? The level of arrogance. He really believed this. He really believes this, yo. He believes that we owe his ass and we owe people apologies. This shit is wild, man.
Need it. You doing it for yourself. Now, Arredondo spoke out. Could he be lying? Could he be telling the truth? I believe that everybody's acting in good faith. Unless I have evidence to believe.
Oh, Bakari Akil Bey, I already knew this. But I just want to see. What I want is to highlight this for anybody that supports this dude.
Believe that he is explicitly lying and it contradicts actual facts that I know. I think he's telling the truth. This is the longest article I've ever read in my life, and I'm going to link it to you guys so you can see everything that happened in this scenario. Let's start with the obvious lies, and then we're going to get up to speed on what he said and how that comes together, and it dispels a lot of what a lot of people have said that have not listened to me. I know what I'm talking about. I wouldn't talk about this if I didn't know what I was talking about. Now, first thing is that they were cowards and they just stood outside the classroom while this guy went across the school for 40 minutes to an hour just slaughtering people.
Well, what? What? So he's calling us liars by spewing a lie.
Talk about this if I didn't know what I was talking about. Now, first thing is that they were cowards and they just stood outside the classroom while this guy went across the school for 40 minutes to an hour just slaughtering people. Talk about this if I didn't know what I was talking about. Now, first thing is that they were cowards and they just stood outside the classroom while this guy went across the school for 40 minutes to an hour just slaughtering people. That did not happen. The cops were just sitting outside.
Did he just say that people were saying that the guy was running across the school, slaughtering people? Is that the point of contention? Is that he was allowed to run across the school going around slaughtering everybody while passing up police officers? Is that what the point of contention is? Or is the point of contention the fact that he sat up in that classroom for an hour, and even though, he used 100 rounds in 2 minutes or whatever they said he used, he was continuing to fire on the students in the classroom throughout that hour. He was in one classroom with 19 cops all up and through the hallway with no attempt to enter, right? Except for what he's going to say that the chief said that they tried to do. We're going to get into that as well. It just doesn't make any sense.
inside the room doing nothing and not trying to do nothing. That didn't happen. Chief Earl Don.
First Sergeant Dobie was good. Buck Nasty in the building. Yeah.
Rondo was telling people to stand down and all this other stuff. That didn't happen. A lone Border Patrol officer that just ran into the school, defied all orders, passing all the cowardice police officers, went in the door by himself and killed a suspect. That did not.
Who said that? He keeps saying that, but I haven't heard anybody say that a lone Border Patrol officer went into and killed the shooter. What I understood was he went in with a shotgun and helped get students out. I didn't hear anything about him killing anybody.
Not happen. And there's a lot more that people are saying that I would argue did not happen, but we're going to go through some of the new developments so y'all can be up to speed. Now, Chief Arredondo was one of the first to respond to the scene. The suspect came through the south door. Him and some officers came through the north door, and some came through the south once the suspect had entered the room. There was nobody that made contact with the suspect before. He let off over 100.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about? No one came in contact with him before. That's a lie. 2 officers followed him into the building. We know this because this was said by multiple people that were there, multiple officers, and the guy that did that press conference that I highlighted. They followed him into the hallway, chased him in there. He ran up in there, and then once they got into the south side where he went to that one hallway and then into the other hallway where the classrooms were. He fired on them as they were trying to approach, and they backed out.
Rounds into 2 classrooms before officers were ever able to make true contact with him.
So,
Chief
okay.
Arredondo went straight for the door through his radio.
So let's say after the 2 guys chased him in, and he fired on them and they backed out. So what if he fired 100 rounds? What is that supposed to? What if he fired 100 rounds? So they might as well not try. They might as well not do everything they can to kill the guy to end this shit.
Outside of the room, outside of the school, because he didn't want it to get in his way. He couldn't use it in the hallways anyway.
That does that make sense? But let me let him talk, man.
Because it had been a dead radio. Some radios don't work within the hallways, and he believed, according to his statement, which to me makes sense, he believed that he was going to get into a life and death shootout with this guy. He didn't want any distractions. He wanted to be able to shoot this guy unimpeded. Now, what I will say is that personally, I don't know what their radio looked like. I would never drop my radio outside of anywhere.
So why? See, he's already contradicting himself, and he doesn't even know it. He doesn't even know that's what he's doing right now is contradicting himself. At first, he said it made sense to him that this guy would drop his radio. Now he's saying he personally would not drop his radio for nothing. Oh, I don't know what the kind of radios they have. Do you think they have those big ass block radios that sit in the backpack? You don't think they have radios that will clip and all that other shit? Come on, man. Miss me with the bullshit.
At the same time, I don't know what his radio was. We had a radio on the side in a clamp holster that the radio wouldn't fall out of, and also we had earpieces. So therefore, we wouldn't make noise, and the suspect wouldn't know where we were at because we were communicating through earpieces. Obviously, that wasn't the case. I believe that was tactically reasonable.
Help me understand this. It's tactically reasonable to leave your means of communication outside where you're going to be in a situation where you could get into a shootout with somebody, but you're going to leave your radio and your form of communication outside of where that is because you don't want to get in the way, which doesn't make any fucking sense. You're going to get yourself in a shootout and not have a means of communication like, oh, look, I'm over here. Get me out of this. I'm in this building, that building. You know what I'm saying? Be careful. There's, all that type of shit. So you think that's tactful? He thinks that's tactical to leave your radio. because it might get in the way. It doesn't make any fucking sense. Get in the way of what? Get in the way of what? Get in the way of what? If you're gonna have your firearm out, it's gonna get in the way of you pulling your firearm out because you're already gonna have your firearm out as you approach the building. So what is it getting in the way of? Are you holding your gun up here? And you know how they have the walkies that come up here, you can, and talk? When are you gonna have your gun up here? Oh, it's in the way. I can't. No, motherfucker, what are you talking about?
In the situation he was in. Now, once he get into the school, he said they were unable to penetrate the door. It is a full steel, fireproof door that's made for people not to get through it. Unfortunately, their department don't have access to the master key. The school
That's going to be important later.
only have access to the master key, and the officers, including Arredondo, has to ask a staff member to get them the key. While they were unable to get in, while the guy was shooting at them, the officers in Arredondo instructed some of the officers that were at the scene to start evacuating people. One thing that a lot of people don't know, and they don't care to know, that according to Arredondo, they were able to save.
According to Arredondo, because he's the only person that can give him any level of vindication for capable for the police. But nothing that he's saying, Arredondo is saying, lets me know, oh, well, there's nothing they could have done for a whole hour while there was 19 motherfuckers standing in the hallway. Oh, there's nothing they could do. They didn't have any equipment. They didn't have any breaching tools whatsoever. Let's keep going. Let's keep going.
And rescue 500 students and staff from that school that day. 500.
Why? So the shooter is isolated in 2 rooms. Right? You know where he is. You essentially have him pinned down. He's locked in the classroom. There is no reasonable sense of urgency to focus on evacuating students that he does not have access to. By this time, you know it's just him. It's just one shooter. There's no other shooters that you can discern on campus. You have this guy isolated in 2 rooms where there's a bunch of kids that he's firing rounds at. There is no urgency. There is no reasonable sense of urgency in my mind. And I hope I don't know about y'all, but if the shooter is isolated in 2 rooms and he has no way of getting to the other rooms or the other buildings on campus without running through y'all, why is it so urgent to have? I can see getting the kids out of that building itself in the adjoining classrooms and other classrooms in the hallway, but that's it.
100 people were rescued from the school that day. What a lot of people don't know, there was multiple people.
No, there wasn't 500 kids rescued from the school that day. The kids in that building were rescued. The other kids that you guys took out, that was just part of what they felt like they needed to do. You know what I'm saying? At that point in time. Nicolette Moore was good. How did the shooter even get in there? They said, I don't know, jumped the fence, something. The door wasn't locked. Rashard Givens was good. Christopher Alexander. They saying the door was unlocked. I have no idea. Excuse me.
People rescued from in the classroom that day where the shooter was at spraying people. Now, Arredondo goes on to say he ended up getting the key, but the keys wouldn't work. They gave him.
He ended up getting the keys, but none of the keys worked. None of the keys worked. We are to believe that he got the keys, and none of the keys worked. And of course, again, this information would vindicate him because he's going so hard. And so he's clinging to this narrative that none of the keys worked that he had gotten. None of them worked. They happen to these listen, these school faculty members, they know what keys work where. They know, oh, well, you can't use this key. They're not going to give him, and I don't think they're going to give him a key ring that doesn't have the right key for the doors he needed for.
From multiple sets of keys, and he tried them on adjacent doors to the room.
Multiple sets of keys that he tried on the adjoining classrooms. None of them worked.
To see which one worked, they never worked.
They never
Even
worked.
at the time that the Vortex team got there, they finally found a key that worked.
So it just so happens that the Vortex team, the tactical team that showed up, they were able to miraculously get the key that worked immediately. But his ass and nor other pigs there could have gotten the keys. They were only able to obtain the key when the Vortex team showed up. That's what we're supposed to believe. Now, I worked at schools. I worked at schools for years, okay, doing electrical work, that type of shit. And we would have, me and my crew had sets of keys, right? There are multiple master keys that the custodians have, right? The plant manager, the principal, they have, all you got to do is find these motherfuckers. And I guarantee you they were there. They were there. The principal, the custodian, the head custodian, that's basically the plant manager. But there are people, there's going to be multiple people who have access to a master key that's going to work on every classroom door. It's going to work on every classroom door. Now, there are certain other doors that it's not going to work on, like maybe a computer lab or a janitor's closet or a utility room, where the electric room, those type of rooms, or rooms where there's a lot of expensive equipment like the student bookstore or, where you go buy snacks and shit, you know what I'm saying, by the cafeteria. Those are the type of doors that are not going to work with a master key. But a master key is going to work on every single classroom door. That's all I'm saying.
And that's where they showed up with the shield, breached the door with the key. My sources wasn't completely accurate about it because he said that
his sources weren't completely accurate about it. So why should we even consider you to be credible? Your source wasn't accurate. So why should we believe a word you're saying right now? Why should we believe anything you're saying? But we should apologize, and you're telling us that your source wasn't accurate. But we need to apologize to you. We need to apologize to you, huh? Make it make sense. Make it make sense. I can't make it make sense.
That it was a Halligan used. Maybe he was confused.
Halligan. So he's going to go into the multiple ways you can breach a door like that, right? One is a Halligan. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that. The firefighters use them. They're not very complex tools, right? Hopefully I spell it right. Halligan bar. All right? This is what it is. Right? This is a Halligan. That's it. So you mean to tell me you're a police department, I don't care if you got 1 police officer or 6 police officers, you don't have tools that can breach a door like this? The source told him it was a Halligan used. Okay. So no one, not even a fire department, had a Halligan that you could have got off of? And you couldn't find the master key for an hour, but when Vortex, or whatever the fuck he said, showed up, the master key appeared that worked on the door, right? Come on, man. Come on. Miss me with that. Miss me with that. They don't have the budget for this. They don't have a budget for it. You know what I'm saying? Uvalde Police, you know what I'm saying? It's a small town, you know, $200, $141, $342. They don't have that in the budget. And what else? He's going to get into it. Dig your hole, buddy.
And this was somebody that was intimately involved. Maybe he was confused because they brought the Halligan up.
He was so intimately involved that he got it wrong about how they breached the door. That's how intimately involved he was. Your source, right? Come on, man. Come on, Pippin.
Maybe he didn't see exactly whether they used the key or they used the Halligan at the door. So I'll correct that.
Right, because a key is so similar to a Halligan, right?
On behalf of what I was told by somebody that was intimately involved in this situation. And so they use the key, they go in, and they kill the guy.
You see what he's doing, right? He's trying to make it appear that his news is valuable, that his information is valuable, because he has someone who's so intimately involved in this situation that he confused the key for a Halligan.
Yeah. Now, according to Chief Arredondo, he never gave anybody instructions because he didn't have a radio, which makes sense.
Oh, man. Because Arredondo said that he had no radio. He didn't give the commands that told him to pull back. Even if he did not give those commands, it still doesn't matter, right? You still need to breach, go in there and handle your bit knot. It doesn't matter who gave the order. None of this is proving that you were right.
We're going to talk about the incident command situation here in a second.
Incident command
situation. He didn't get anybody instructions. He didn't have a radio. It was not relayed to him, even though he had a phone call with dispatch. It wasn't relayed to him that kids were calling in into the school, in from that classroom. Now, seems highly unlikely to me that the dispatcher wouldn't tell him and that he wasn't aware.
Yet, you're hinging your entire argument on what this one individual has said. You just told us, he just told us that, yo, I don't know, he's a little suspect. That's basically what he said. He finds it hard to believe that he didn't have the knowledge from dispatcher or whatever, that he didn't know that the kids were in the classroom calling. He said that. But you're hinging your entire cape argument on this dude's words. Why are you using him then? What? You don't think that's a crucial piece of information that you need to feel you need to be as accurate as possible with? To tell us, yo, y'all need to leave an apology in the comment section. What? Dude. What was it? It's complete nonsense.
But that's what he said. We shall find out in the investigation. The other aspect of incident command, he's been criticized because people presume that he had incident command. Let me explain incident command structure real quick. According to NIMS, that you are supposed to, when the first person on the scene, or it wouldn't be the first person on the scene. Normally, the first supervisor or commander on the scene. Let me rephrase it like this. You are presumed incident command until you begin to delegate people as they show up to the scene
saying,
communicate what we have, what is our tactical strategy from here moving forward. Arredondo, in his situation, and I say some of it could be a lack of tactical experience. These major, large agencies come into your little town, and when you only manage 6 people on the police department, that somebody will take incident command knowing that there's no control at the scene. In a perfect world, Arredondo should have backed away, even though he was intimately involved in the shooting and intimately involved in trying to get keys and work the door.
Do you really need to determine exactly who's in command? If you are the chief, right, So this guy expects me. You expect me to believe that you rushed in there to try to take and engage this guy, and left your radio. Wasn't communicated to you that kids were calling from the school. That you did not have the capability of having command. That's what you expect me to believe. And if you're with your deputies, or your not your deputies, your officers in this school trying to handle the situation, and you guys are around each other, you're close together, right? You know, you had 2 here, 2 there. Do you need a radio to say, yo, back out, we need to... No, you don't need a radio because your guys are with you. Your guys are with you. So all you have to do is huddle together like, look, this is what we're going to do. We're going to treat this as a barricaded suspect until Bortec arrives because I'm scared as shit. I'm fuck that. I'm too motherfucking scared. I ain't going, I ain't dealing with that. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you have the keys, custodian? Oh, thank you. I'm going to go try the door. I mean, come on, man. Come on. I mean, I'm not saying that's what happened, but why should I believe this dude, right? He has every incentive to make it look like he was doing the right thing, or that he didn't have full control of the situation, or he tried everything he could. Of course, I wouldn't use him as a motherfucking source. I wouldn't go to him and hinge my whole argument on him. But it's not me we're talking about here.
As the chief of 6 people, which I think that it's a very fair accusation to say that he was incompetent in that moment, but for him to back away in a perfect world to...
He just admitted he was incompetent, but we're supposed to do what we're supposed to do with that information, B. Tatum. We're supposed to further believe that, oh, well, then the cops were courageous. They did everything they could. Absolutely not.
Orchestrate and say, hey, we don't have keys. We need keys from this person. Somebody get a key. The door is impenetrable. We need entry to...
Remember, he said that. He said the windows and the doors are impenetrable. But they were rescuing kids through windows and the doors in the same building. They were getting kids out through windows. Remember that? They were kids. Come on, man. Come on.
Tools. These are the tools.
The windows and doors are not impenetrable. You can get through the doors. You can get through the windows. It'll just take some fucking work. It'll take work. That's your fucking job. Do the work to get the fucking doors and windows open. That's the point.
We need. Here is a strategy that we're going to
use. We don't have the tools.
We
don't have the tools we need. But I just showed y'all one tool that they could use. The Halligan, which is not a complicated, sophisticated tool. I can guarantee you that department has Halligans in their fucking. They have them. I guarantee that. I don't. Or the police department or the fire department has them, and you could have got one from them. If you really wanted to do everything you could to get those kids and save as many kids as you could in that classroom, these are things that you would have done.
Isolated. We got teachers being evacuated here. Here's, all of this could have happened and should have happened in a perfect world. I don't really blame Arredondo for his peculiar position. So there was no mention of somebody to stand down. Bortec showed up. They were able to get a key. They breached the door and they killed a suspect.
They were able to get the key. The key was only producible when they showed up, right? In an hour and some change, the key became producible when Bortec showed up, when the tactical team showed up. That was when. Come on, man.
So I guess some additional new things that you learn is that Arredondo went to the school. He went to Robb Elementary.
No one cares.
He had an intimate relationship with the community.
No one cares.
Because they didn't want it to take away from the mourning that the parents were having of their own children.
He's talking about
ceremony.
This guy got inducted into the city council and all that other shit. That's what he's talking about.
You have the BP guy who don't work for Uvalde PD. The BP guy came from the barbershop, said that they did everything that they could. And let me finish it with this theology. It is a cluster. ladies and gentlemen. It was a cluster.
Theology?
I don't think people understand that this was the perfect storm, unfortunately, for a small agency and a response from multiple agencies, both state, local, and federal.
Doesn't matter.
This was the worst case scenario. These schools are built, and I'll see if I can find a picture of the actual school, at least the building. These schools, and let me just give you a quick synopsis here. This is the area where the shooting was happening at, right in this one bedroom, this one classroom these two classrooms that's connected by a bathroom. All of the people here were rescued. Everybody in this building was rescued. All the buildings here were rescued. And this is where some of the parents picked their kids up. A lot of kids were evacuated to the funeral home here. But if you go through what the actual school building looked like, these school buildings, and people don't even talk about these classrooms, these school buildings are built that if you somehow make entry into this area, you cannot access the classrooms. You can't access
the classrooms by turning the knob. Let's clarify that. You can't access the classroom by just turning the knob because the doors should be locked. That's what he's saying.
Classrooms. They are built with fireproof doors that cannot be breached unless you have
Unless what?
A professional breaching tool.
Because Uvalde Police Department, they don't have a professional breaching tool. Nor does any other agency that was there for the entire hour, because it wasn't just Uvalde Police. There were other police agencies there before the Vortex team showed up. But none of them had any of the breaching tools that he's about to mention.
A Halligan explosive
a Halligan or explosive breach,
or you had a breaching round, which is
so. Can you hand me one? So, an explosive breach, okay, or a breaching round from a shotgun. And I mentioned that, I think the second time I did a video on this, okay? Now, let's see how complicated a breaching round is. Let's see how sophisticated that is. Because, you know, a small boutique police department, they're not going to have any of that. No. All they have are wheel guns. All they have are 6-shooters. And, you know, that's it. That's all they need. You know, they're near the border. You know, nothing going on there. Nothing going on there. Come on, man. Breaching shotgun. Not breaching shotgun. Breaching shotgun rounds. Okay, let's see how complicated those are. Let's see. Oh, man. Pfft. Look at this. You know what? You know, those plastic shits, look at that. Breech blast. No wonder. It's opaque. It's opaque because that's what, you know, they're not going to have this. No. They don't have shotguns in the center of their vehicles between the, you know, the driver and the passenger seat. They don't have those. No, they don't have breaching rounds at all. Because who would expect a police officer to breach a fucking door? Who would expect that? Oh, we're just the police. We don't have any of the complicated tools like a Halligan breach or a Halligan bar or a fucking breaching round. We don't have that. No. And you know what? School keys, they don't work for us. They only work for Vortex. Keys only work when Vortex shows up. So I don't know. I did everything I could, right? That's what we're to believe. Let's see a video. Let's see how. Let's see. 1 minute. Y'all got 1 minute, right? Okay. Let's see how complicated this is.
Stan Brobus, Lead Officer Tatum. Just finished up a 3-day CQB course. We're out here doing some ballistic shotgun breaching with our heavy shot, frangible, environmental friendly ammo. Yes, we are doing ballistic breaching with 4 number 4 in buckshot. We can do that because this ammunition is frangible. The great thing about it, we've been getting positive penetration on locking mechanisms, and we don't have a lot of fragmentation flying in that room. Let's do a little demonstration on a door. I got some targets on the other side.
Not a lot of fragmentation flying into the room. Perfect for a fucking room full of fucking kids, right? Perfect for a room full of kids. Frangible, so that shit doesn't fly out and hit a bunch of kids. But you know what? It doesn't matter because they used 200 rounds in 1 minute. He used 100 rounds in 2 minutes. So what's the... Well, there's no urgency anymore because he fired fucking 100 rounds in 2 minutes. So, you know, those kids, they're probably fucking dead anyway. And, oh, well, you know, I would have tried harder if I had known that there were students in there calling from their fucking phone. I would have tried a little harder. This is what I want y'all to understand is the narrative that Brandon Tatum is pushing. He's just not going to say it. So I'm going to say it for him. And if he has a problem with that, he can hit your boy up.
See the positive penetration and the lack of fragmentation flying through the room with it being a frangible ammunition.
Now, granted, this is not a steel door, right? It's not a steel door, but that is a steel locking mechanism or doorknob or whatever, right? These rounds are designed to blow the shit out of this. You understand? That's what they're designed to do. I've used them, and they work pretty goddamn well. And you can use them on any door. It's the knob, right? It doesn't matter if it's a fucking adamantium door. It would matter if it was an adamantium locking mechanism. But the door being steel, it'd make it hard to ram it. But if you had a breaching round, you just blow the knob out and push the motherfucker open. You don't need to knock the door down. But this is a complicated tool. This guy, I don't know how he got his hands on these things. He shouldn't have them because only Bortec and the sophisticated agencies, only the tactical teams can have these type of fucking breaching rounds, right? Is that's pretty much what it is, right? Come on, man, miss me with the bullshit. Hold on.
Hey, fellas, we just did our ballistic breaching. As you can see in this room, we got a couple targets.
Hold on. Look.
Hey, fellas, we just did our
so you
ballistic
firing,
breaching. As you can see in this,
and I'm pretty sure they have heavier rounds for heavier doors or heavier knobs. But you're placing the barrel or the muzzle not directly on the lock, but in the space where the lock goes into the jam. Is going to obliterate it. You understand what I'm saying? And you're going to use a heavier round for a steel door because you can still blow the shit out of a steel door with a breaching round. You just need the right one. But yeah.
this room we got a couple targets. The targets are fragmentation free. The back wall, fragmentation free. Nothing on the floor except for splintered wood. So our frangible ammunition did its job. Hey guys, go pick up your box or two. It's good stuff.
Go pick a box or two. You know why? Because it's not fucking complicated. It's not a sophisticated round. Anybody can get one. Anybody. Come on, man. Come on. But hey, we weren't cops for 6 years like this guy, so we don't know shit, right? We need to apologize to this guy.
Will come out a shotgun.
What's good, y'all? Alan Powell, the real AP, was good. Yes, Tatum does love the taste of boot. Indeed, he do. Yeah. Boot leather tastes sweet, document says. Alicia Trigg says the way they conducted themselves led me to excuse me, they were already knew what was up. I'm with you on that, Alicia. Trust me. I said the first time, it sounded like these kids were lined up for this sacrifice. They were lined up. That's what I believe. Because it just, nothing makes sense. This door was unlocked. You know what I'm saying? I'm not sure if there was a door here, but I think the two cops that said they chased him in here said that there was a door here. All these doors are unlocked, ready and then this door happened to be, he was able to gain access to that door. Okay.
Blow a whole lock mechanism off. If you don't have that,
Uvalde wouldn't have that. The Uvalde PD wouldn't have that. No one would have that. None of the agencies that were there would have that until Borte showed up. Only they can have it.
Can't get into the school.
Come on, man.
This is what the school is supposed to be like. The perfect storm, really unfortunate in this situation, and I hope that things change in the future because of it. The perfect storm is that the gunman gained access to the school through a door that was not secured. Now, there was an original rumor that a teacher left a rock in the door or whatever. That wasn't true. She had a rock in the door. She kicked the rock out. She shut the door when she went back into the school. Now, this door, for whatever reason, didn't secure. People that have been in school before, people that work at office buildings before know that sometimes you unlock the door and you're not supposed to. And there was a graduation right before this happened, so I could assume that a janitor may have come and unlocked the door so they didn't have to keep putting a rock in the door. Now, the teacher didn't know that because she propped it open with a rock. Now, I don't know if it's that the locking mechanism wasn't engaged or she didn't shut the door enough to lock the door. Either way it go, perfect storm, he comes in here with the door unlocked. He was able to get in here, and he was able to get into a room where the door was not secured. Now, in the way this is supposed to go is that a shooter cannot get into the kids through here. Now, if he does get into here, he's not going to be able to get into any of the individual classrooms. It's impossible unless you have a key or breaching tools or explosive breach. You're not going to get in these classrooms at all. Now, and let me just say this for people that may not understand this. So how would the firefighters get in here? They wouldn't. They'll just get the windows open and they'll get kids out the window.
What did he just say? What did he just say? What did he say? They will get the windows open. That's what he said, right? But earlier, the windows are impenetrable. But you said just now the police officers, the firefighters, would be able to get the students out through the window because they'd open the window. Yeah, that's what you said. Mm-hmm.
Let me just say this for people that may not understand this. So how would the firefighters get in here? They wouldn't. They'll just get the windows open and they'll get kids out the window. This is made to where if a fire breaks out in the school, somewhere in the location, it cannot.
Through the window. They can open the window. The window can be opened. You have to be. I was in these schools. I worked in these schools. These windows can be opened. Right? They can be opened. Period. Like, even if it has like a screen, they just pull the screen off. Do whatever you can to get in there. That's the point. Do whatever you can to get in there, kill this dude, and get the students out. Put your life at risk to save these students because you care about children and you're not a fucking coward. And because that's your job, right? That's what you're there to do.
It's not going to burn through these doors. Kids will be safe until they can safely exit the room through the windows. That's the way it's supposed to work. Firefighters are not going to go in here unless structure is collapsed and they can't get kids out of the windows. They're not going to come in here. If in the rescue situation, right? If they're going to fight the fire.
In a rescue situation, because that's not what this was supposed to be. No, this was a barricaded subject situation. He just let you know this wasn't a rescue situation. And there was no structural collapse, so you can get the motherfuckers out the door. You can get the kids out the door. No structural damage, no shit collapsing. You know what I'm saying? This should have been a rescue mission.
It's a different scenario. They're going to evacuate all these people first and try to get them out before they begin to fight this fire, if it makes sense to them tactically. And you can't predict every scenario. But He gets into here. Unfortunately, this door wasn't secure. He gets into here. Now, according to information that I had, he did shoot in here. He came out of here.
Information you have from who? The same cat that told you that they used a Halligan instead of a key? Confused a Halligan with a key? We're supposed to believe that.
To go across here. He couldn't get in his door, so he shot the door with his gun, but he still couldn't make it in his door. So he went back into the classroom and through the classroom through a open door into this classroom because this door is secured and locked. That's the only way he made it through here is because he went through an open door and ended up having access all the way through. He shot in here for 2 minutes straight, over 100 rounds, before police ever really made contact with him.
Lies. It's not true. Remember I told you that video? And if it's not true, then why did they tell us that two officers followed him in here? Were on his heels, and then he fired on him. And they backed out. And then they say he was passed up by 2 resource officers. We getting so much information. Oh, there was contact. Oh, there wasn't contact. Now you're telling us there's not contact again. Like, none of this is making sense. But irregardless, they're still cowards. Whether he's shot for 2 minutes or not, unimpeded. It doesn't matter. 2 minutes as opposed to an hour and a half or a whole hour because he fired 100 rounds in 2 minutes. No, fuck that. I'm trying to get in there while he's firing 200 rounds. I'm doing what I got to do. You understand what I'm saying? And if I don't have the breaching tools with me at this point in time, I'm going to call for breaching tools. Or I'm going to call for somebody to open these windows while I distract them at this door. You don't need a Halligan. You don't need, you know what I'm saying? Give me the right fucking key. And if he was trying keys on the doors, maybe he was just too scared. According to the information that he was so afraid to encounter, he couldn't get no damn door because he's too shaky and motherfucking fumbling with the keys. And gave up. I do not believe that he did not have the right key for a fucking hour. Fuck out of here with that.
We have. And this is the perfect storm. Because once he get in here and he locked these doors, these doors are made to be impenetrable through fire or breaching. You would have to be a professional to do that. So now
because of Uvalde Police,
he's already in the room. Now he's already in the room secured.
The Uvalde Police are not professionals. Understand that. They're not professionals. And that lends them to being cowards. That lends to them being cowards, yeah. Because they couldn't act, there are professionals. They get paid as professionals. But if they couldn't act as professionals in this moment when it mattered, then they're fucking cowards. Because they didn't want to act professional. They didn't want to act professional. They didn't want to put themselves in the line of fire. Point blank and period. And that's what it is.
Keys worked. Multiple keys. None of them worked.
Shut up.
So this is something that the school district.
Shut up.
They end up coming in here like this, breaching.
Oh, wait. He's blaming this on the school district.
Probably didn't want to give the cops keys. And that was a failure by the whole school system.
A failure by the school system. Because they gave him keys and he couldn't get them to work. Why would they give you keys that wouldn't work? While students under their fucking watch are being slaughtered, why would they give you non-working keys? So you're telling me that the school didn't know that those keys didn't work? They didn't know those keys didn't work. They work at the school. They've been there a while. They tried the keys. They use the keys, but they don't work. That's what you know what I'm saying? And that's a failure of the school system. No, look how quickly he can blame the school system for this. Look how quickly he can place blame on the school system, but he can't place any blame on the fucking pigs. Come on, man. It's completely disingenuous.
And the police department. Again, not just the cops. The school probably didn't want to give the cops keys. Anyway.
I guess I forgot he said that. And the police department. Well, good on you. No, it wasn't the student. It wasn't the school's fault. No, it's not the school's fault. Not the school's fault. It's your fault because you didn't act in the way you should have acted in this situation.
They rescued all these people. The SWAT team came up, I think, from this angle. They end up coming in here like this, breaching this door and shooting a guy in here and here. I can't remember. I think they breached this one and shot him in here. According to one of the witnesses at the scene, said the kids were pulverized and decapitated. That's what 5.56 will do to kids, shooting them. Before cops can ever make it there, they will be pulverized.
Before cops could ever make it there, you see what he's doing? Oh, those kids, they were doomed anyway. They were going to they were dead. They're going to get pulverized and decapitated by 5.56. They're already dead. So what's the point? That's what he's saying. That's what. Come on, man. Before the cops showed up, they pulverized the kids. What did it do, shouty? Although a couple of the kids a few kids in these classrooms survived. A few of them survived, and the teacher for this classroom survived. So even if it was 1 or 2 or 3 students that could have been saved, or 4 or 5, because he was continuing to fire rounds in these classrooms throughout that hour. It wasn't just the first 2 minutes. Even if you could have saved just one student, it would have been worth you breaching the fucking shit ASAP, not waiting for Bortec or anything like that. And don't forget, he said that technically we supposed to wait for the SWAT at the Bortec. No, because you're not supposed to treat it as a barricaded subject. You're supposed to treat it as a school shooter situation. And he hasn't touched on that at all. I gotta get out of here.
AR-15 rounds. And that's a very sad day, and I know a lot of parents were upset about that. One of the Uvalde ISD officers' kid died in this situation. One of Arredondo's good friends that he went to school with was actually his cousin-in-law, one of his family members, was married to the woman who died in here.
Okay.
This was personal.
Okay.
But for people to come out.
Okay. What does that mean? What does that mean? He's not a coward because one of his family members died in here?
And say these were cowards and they did nothing.
Yeah.
You owe them an apology. They got death threats.
I don't owe them shit. I don't owe them nothing but facts. They're cowards. You said that there were 6 Uvalde Police Department officers, but there were 19 people in this hallway. Come on, man. Miss me with the bullshit.
Arredondo been getting death threats, and people didn't even know the scenario that actually happened.
I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. I don't care if he got death threats. We supposed to apologize to him because he got death threats? Fuck out of here. Old head Deuce was good. Lawrence Rittenhouse was good. Miss me with the bullshit. I'm done with this guy. Let me see what he says.
This is what things that happen that we don't know and we cannot plan for.
So
it's okay to criticize law enforcement.
Okay, so create a plan. You don't know the situation. You know the situation as it's happening. Adapt and create a plan that makes sense. You're supposed to be able to think on your feet, man. Hey, you got a badge and a gun. You call yourself a protector and all this other shit. Get your shit together. Get over your fear, right? Nothing wrong with having fear, but get over it. Don't let it control you and save these fucking kids. Come up with some shit. Adapt. Don't sit there for a fucking hour and allow this guy to be in his classroom with these kids doing God knows what, shooting more rounds, doing all this, that, and the third. Fuck out of here.
It's okay to make an assumption, or not make an assumption, but make an adjustment and say this is what we need to do to improve on. But to go and say that police are cowards and they all deserve to go to hell and all this other stuff.
I mean, I wouldn't go that far, but they are cowards.
You're just wrong.
At least these demonstrated that
there's going to be a lot learned from this situation around the country, just like in Columbine. It's going to be a lot to learn. These small town
That's okay. It's going to be a lot to learn, and that doesn't mean that you're right. It doesn't mean that they're not cowards.
Small towns who are expecting a multi-agency response are going to have a contingency plan. Let me give you just an example, and most of you guys don't even watch it anymore because most people watch half of the video. But when I was in Tucson, Gabby Giffords was shot by a terrorist.
No one cares.
A domestic terrorist.
Hey, yo, we recording?
Oops.
All right, I'm going in. Errol Spence Jr.
Arrive and find that guy and kill him. They're not expected for these doors to be breached.
So we're going to stop here. I'm done. I want to see a couple of comments. These are good questions from Zeno Gears. Why did it take so long for the chief side to hear the chief side? Is there no body cam? Good questions. Let's see. Brandon, all the problems Brandon, all the problems you point out were known ahead of time. Radios are not working in hallways, not having master keys, steel doors, not breaching tools. No, Brandon. The department screwed this up through incompetence, lack of preparation, poor execution, and cowardice. She forgot that part. The subsequent poor communication has led to community doubting their resolve. Every bit of cluster this is. It's his fault. Yeah. Why did he declare? Yeah, exactly. Honest question that wasn't addressed, and I listed the whole thing. Why did he declare barricaded subject somewhere around 30 minutes in when he was in with 19 officers in the hall who had radios and dispatch was still calling 911 calls out from students and gunfire is heard in the background? Good questions. Depending on what you go off of, there were anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes under barricaded subject declaration where the shooter was still clearly active and kids were being murdered while Leos were instructed to stand down due to barricade. Yeah, great questions. You don't need, come on, man, come on. The man is chief, no matter if he is chief of 5 or over 500 or more, you never throw away your only means of communication with your people. Facts. I work with a mobile radio every day. You never get rid of it. If you are in a dead zone, you still keep it. Even these small radios make fine clubs. All right. Yeah, I mean, yeah. And a lot of people are pointing out, you don't discard your radio. This guy, Tim Dooley, although I respect and agree with you 99% of the time, let me add my take to the narrative based on 23-year career at Dallas Fire Department with at least 8 years serving as battalion chief with thorough knowledge and experience in uniform incident command system. The chief should never have discarded his radio, even if it weighed 20 pounds, because without this, the IC system breaks down completely because it simply will not work without the ability to communicate. The great point. I mean, but it made tactical sense to Brandon. Fuck out of here. Oh, here, look, I'm a former firefighter. This is Justin B. You said that they couldn't breach the door with a Halligan. They used it wrong. Those are specifically designed for those purposes. Fire resistance doors aren't impenetrable. Fit our idnax. Yeah. 114 likes. Not that makes him right, but come on. Slip aside says, must be nice to be given 2 weeks to write your statement and have your best law enforcement buddies review it so it sounds extra legit. Yeah. Here we go. A teacher. As a teacher in a high school, you're a high school and a teacher? Very interesting. We absolutely drill these sorts of incidences. There's no reason why a custodian or security on site would not have a master key to every room and every door. Like I told y'all. At any time of any day, I can ask a custodian to open up any door in the building. This makes no sense. No offense to Officer Tatum, because I understand and agree 100%. What are you talking about? You agree 100%? No, you don't. What? She's trying to keep her comment from being deleted. This guy, Derek King. Brandon keeps doubling down on stupid. He's quicker to defend the police chief than he is. He jumps in between two women internet beefing. I don't know nothing about that. But y'all get it. And here are the senators that need to be placed under arrest for going after our rights to keep bear arms. Violating 18 U.S. Code 242. Conspiracy to strip people's rights away. 18 U.S. Code 242. And I'm going to show you which rights they're violating. And although it says protecting constitutional rights, that's bullshit. Here you have Chris Murphy, John Cornyn, Tom Tillis, Kristen Sinema, Richard Blumenthal, Roy Blunt, Cory Booker, Richard Burr, Bill Cassidy, Suzanne Collins, Chris Coons, Lindsey Graham, who's a senator for the state I live in right now, Martin Heinrich, Mark Kelly, Angus King, Joe Manchin, Rob Portman, Mitt Romney, Debbie Stabenow, and Pat Toomey. So those guys, they need to be arrested. Like real shit. We need to stop playing games with these people. When they go to violate our rights, we have to hit them with the 18 U.S. Code 242, 18 U.S. Code 241. What the hell? 18 U.S. Code 241. And we place them under arrest. Not, we won't vote for you again. No, fuck all that. Yeah, send them your letters. I sent the letter, just to help bombard this guy. But, more needs to be done than that, right? And look what they want to do. Mental health resources, whatever that means, improve school safety, whatever that means, support for the students, help ensure dangerous criminals and those who are educated as mentally ill can't purchase weapons. Who's going to determine who's mentally ill? Okay, dangerous criminals. All right, so you're talking about people that, in order to be a criminal, you have to commit a crime and you have to leave a victim. So, yeah. That only makes sense. But you already do this. Dangerous criminals it's already illegal for dangerous criminals to purchase weapons. Right? It's already illegal. It's already against the law. You can already get. What are you talking about? If you have been convicted as a dangerous criminal, if you have been convicted, you already are not supposed to have firearms. So what are you talking about? This is bullshit. Most importantly, our plan saves lives while protecting the constitutional rights of law, but no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. That's bullshit. The proposal includes initiatives to support state crisis intervention orders. What does that even mean? Those are red flag laws, y'all. Just so you know, those are red flag laws. And that's completely unconstitutional, which is why. And they want to increase the age, enhance the review process for buyers under the age of 21, which is going to extend the time they have to wait to get their firearm, which is an infringement. Hell, a 5-minute background check is an infringement. It's all bullshit. And Mitch McConnell says, glad Senators Cornyn and Murphy are continuing to make headway in their discussions about stripping us of our rights. So, they need to be placed under arrest. I don't know how we can do it. We're going to have, it has to be figured out because these people are out of control. These people are out of control. Oh, return YouTube dislike? Okay, I'll check that out. Hold on. Hey, y'all check out the Discord. Oh, Kim Klasick and Candace Owens. Got it. Lawrence Reno asked if I heard of Ricky Manor. You might like him as you and him have similar views. I'll check him out. Richard Manor. Ricky Manor. Okay, I'll check that out. Return YouTube dislikes. I wish I could figure out how to get the chat on this part. I don't know how to do that. I got to figure it out. Fuck. All right, guys, I got to get out of here. Much love, like, share, subscribe. Yeah, I think I did a pretty good job fucking destroying this dude's narrative once again. I wish I'll install the I'll go ahead and install the return to dislike, and next time come on, man. Yeah, I dislike that. So anyway, much love, like, share, subscribe, and remember, we got to keep marching forward toward freedom.